This video was shot in front of a live studio audience at twitch.tv/Verysmollight. I never thought making a Wukong build until recently was really something I should do. But thanks to the pseudo-exotic rework and making them moddable and having arcanes on them, it was actually worth my time sitting down and building a Wukong build. Now, our man here has been nerfed, like, what, 3 different times, maybe more? But I've come here to give you a basic build, evolving around his 4, where you just swing and hit 20 enemies, and absolutely delete them in Seal Path. Obviously, this can clear up to level 5,000 through my testing. Now, you can, obviously, make it all the way up to level cap if you change a few things, but that is entirely up to you to do. But today, we are focusing around his melee, and his one that we have replaced with Raffle Advance. Now, yes, Raffle Advance is so overused, but it is so powerful for that reason for melee frames. It's like, why the fuck aren't you using it at that point, you know? So yeah, basically staying in his 4, using Raffle, using his 3 for armor, and Cloud Step as an shit button. Now, we do have the Grimoire for the alt fire, but that's every once in a while if you want to use it. It's completely up to you, you don't even have to use it. We're using Diarga here for priming with the Tassicore. So we just have that constant priming and armor stripping, so we don't have to worry about it. All we need to worry about is Raffle being procs, and just swinging our polearm. So we're gonna run that. I will also obviously get into the mods once we are done. So, you know, I'm not wasting your time. We'll pull out the 4. Now, obviously, we should know how his 3 works. Take damage, and just hold it, and then get armor. And then, now we just swing. But, now, obviously... Sorry. I kind of just died for a second. Now, obviously with this build, we are using melee influence, thus the lightning procs. Now, if you don't want to use melee influence, there are a few options. One of the options I would say, which is pretty up there for my testing, was Melee Vortex. Melee Vortex, if you're unaware of that mod, it does a neat little thing called Suck. I call it Suck. It pulls all the enemies into like a little field where you can just basically whack them senseless. Now, also, if you're unaware, Wukong's staff has the same effect as melee influence when he slams it into the ground. So if you want the extra suck, go for it. But honestly, the best results you're gonna get is with melee influence. Yes, I know a lot of you are probably like, but melee influence is so overused. It's overused because it's good for melee frames. But yeah, so those are the 2 I would recommend. Now, with our melee, just a little disclaimer, it's a pretty generic melee build, but however, we haven't really made, like, I'm so sorry with my stammering. We haven't built any speed on the melee. That is all covered through Wukong himself, so we can just prioritize damage, status, and what we need to usually prioritize on a melee build. Which just frees up a lot of, mods, honestly. Which is really nice. But obviously, this build did use, Omniformer, so the Universal Former. So if you have those lying around, highly recommend don't skimp out on it if you're gonna build this and have other configs on him. Now, you can, if you're just building him just for a pure melee and not a spy, go for it. Like, you don't even need to use your Omniformer, but if you're also building a spy build on him, you're gonna need that Omniformer so you don't fuck with the other build. Now, you will be able to kill everything, including an Acolyte, whenever that decides to spawn, so you don't really have to worry too much. As you can just see me, I am yapping and sometimes just staring at my wall. Because it's really just a turn-off brain movement and just go ham at the enemy. Which is very up people's alley sometimes. Sometimes not. It's really up to the player, I suppose, huh? But yeah, you can kill any acolyte. You just kind of have to be a little bit worried with violence, however, because violence will turn off your abilities. But other than that, you'll be completely fine. Now we are gonna kinda wait for an acolyte. And I guess you can just see this build at its finest. And we'll do the showcase of what arcanes we are using, what mods we have on, and obviously what Archon shards we have. Because this build does use Archon shards. I didn't make a budget-friendly build, unfortunately, but you can definitely budget it. You'll just have to remove the arcanes, and for the prime mods you don't earn, or mods you don't earn, just use like the basic version. Which is really easy. That still does really well, but obviously doesn't have the consistency of what we have here. But for those of you that are new and are looking for a Wukong, and wondering how to, like a Wukong build and how to get them, how to get them, just go through the dojo, get them free there, and craft them. But Wukong Prime, I'm pretty sure he's vaulted from memory. It's been a while since I kept up to date with vaulted primes. But you can also just buy them in the marketplace. I would just personally say wait until the Prime Resurgence rotation has them in there, since Prime Resurgence changes monthly now, which is, I guess pretty good for newer players, so you don't have to like waste your plat, but if you want an ASAP, just know he's gonna cost a hefty amount.
Is making progress.
Operative!
This will help our cause.
Or the operative. But yeah, no, I'm trying a new recording style, while kind of just yap and wait for the acolyte, and give you the rough breakdown so you see I'm not wasting your time. Obviously this will probably be trimmed. There we go. Maybe. Please not violence. Anything but violence. Okay, for a second I thought that was violence and I just kind of cried. But yeah, no, you can take out acolytes perfectly fine. 2 to 3 swings and they are dead. Really, really easy. But yeah, so now you know I'm not wasting your time. Now we just go to the mods for you. Let's abort here. With the Archon shards, we are using the purple shards. Yes, I'm using 1 towel. It's up to you to use a towel or not. I wanted to because have you seen how many shards I have? But no, so we're using gain 25 crit when the max energy is over 500. You're always gonna have that energy, so you're always gonna have that crit, so you get that extra oomph from the shards. So this synergy is really good. Like I said earlier, we are using Raffle of Vats instead of his one where he like splits himself and makes a clone that does other things. Yeah. So we're using Raffle here. Good on any melee frame, or melee focus frame, I should say. But yeah, purple shards for extra crit from melee when over 500 energy, which you're gonna have regardless, and Raffle Advance to get the juicy red crit. Now, let's just start with the Starf to make everything sense. Yes, I say Starf instead of Staff. Fight me. Now, like I said, we are using melee influence. If you don't want to use melee influence, that's perfectly fine. I would recommend Vortex for the good suck. I don't know. Fight me. Or give me, like, your opinion on what else you want to use. But for now, for this build, I'm using influence for the synergy of the electric. Now, like I said, we didn't really mod for speed, like attack speed, on the melee itself. That is on Wukong through his arcanes. Now, obviously, this is just your generic melee build. Since we are focusing on electric and melee influence, we are using melee elementalist, worth the pickup. highly recommend. And we are using smite mods to just to get more extra damage out on said faction. Now, I'm gonna say this because a lot of people complain during streams, I don't want to use this. Well, it's just a double dip in some damage. Yes, it's unnecessary, but who doesn't want more damage? Anyhow, we are using Shocking Touch. Yes, Shocking Touch here. Like I said, we are using the Electric status, an Elementalist, and Influence. So this synergizes really nicely together for just a pure electric melee here. Now, we are using a Tenor Kai mod, so highly recommend. Tenor Kai mods have been very handy since they've been introduced. But yeah, that is the melee. Weeping Runes, Blood Rush, Organ Shatter. Galvanized Steel has a weird interaction. Always behaves like another mod. I always forget its name. Also, Primed Reach for that extra distance so you can actually kill 20 enemies within one swing. Now, like I said, generic melee build. You'll see this basically everywhere, with a few minor changes depending on the player or on the person themselves. Now, like I said, we kind of modded the speed on Wukong. So, obviously, Arcane Strike, 15% chance for a 40% attack speed to melee weapons for 18 seconds. Now, you're always gonna have this up, even if you have the always gonna have this up. My bad. I don't have this Arcane Max because I am lazy. So this is where the attack speed comes from. We are also using Arcane Fury for more melee damage. Now I am using energy conversion because this is a melee focused build. So we get more ability strength with orbs on the next cost. Sorry, I kind of just died for a second. I saw a bug on my screen. I'm like, how the fuck did you get on my screen? But yeah, so ability strength, focusing there, and a little bit of duration. Efficiency, we're not really too worried about. And range, not really too worried about, because range is melee on the melee, right? Using premature footed so we don't get knocked down. Equilibrium to keep our energy up, and just to keep that sustain going, so you can keep those Archon shards to be being active all the time. Obviously, I'm using Umbral Vitality so I can health tank, because Wukong here, he plays into health tank. You can play him into shield tank, but I have more success playing him into health tanking. Health tanking with Wukong is just far superior, in my opinion. Also, Umbral Intensify for that 55% ability strength. And since we're running Umbral mods, running 2 of them is perfectly fine. And highly recommended. We're using WarframeFlo for that energy. Once again, to have consistent energy so you're never running out. Now reminded for the ability duration, obviously, and a more ability strength with Blind Rage. Yes, we are cutting a lot into our efficiency, but if you're killing things fast with one swing, you're gonna generate energy and health orbs, so you're not really worried about it. And obviously, adaptation for that extra, resilience, so if you get hit by something, you're fine. And like I said, you have Cloud Walker. For some reason, I call it Cloud Step. But you have Cloud Step, basically, just for an oh shit button, just in case, oh, fuck, I'm about to die. And, I mean, same thing with the Free, I suppose, so you can generate armor. But yeah, that is really the build. I kind of yapped a bit. Now, obviously, I'm using Diriga with the Tazakor, so just can get some status priming here. You can use whatever you want. I love the Tazakor and so much, and it's just such a looked over weapon since we have the Varglass and all that, right? But yeah, highly recommend if you're using anything to try to status prime, use the Tazakor. And Diriga, mainly for the Art Coil for priming, is really good. And obviously I'm using Duplex, a Duplex Bond, my bad. So you can just split from each other on X amount of energy cost. So since we're costing Raffle a lot, we're gonna always have that being procs. So yeah, that is mainly the build. Now, you can use the Grimoire. It isn't really needed. The reason I'm using the Grimoire is mainly for the Verm indication stuff. Verm indication. Vindication. Yeah. Mainly just so it snapshots ability strength. Obviously, we are focusing on ability strength. So this is just a once in a while alt fire into a crowd. You don't need it, but I like it. It's a bit overkill. It's up to you. Like I said, you don't need it, but I just put it there because obviously you need to have a weapon there and alt fire since we're not using any actual guns here. But yeah, no, that is Wukong in a nutshell. He's worth playing again if you just want to whack enemies. And let me know how this new recording style is. Obviously, it's weird, but I'm not gonna scrub out all my like stutters and kind of fucking up words and staring at things for a bit. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the Wukong build, and I look forward to seeing you in the next Gremy build. Alright, love you all, and stay safe, stay cozy, stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next build. Also, should totally check out my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Verysmollight. I go live there basically every day playing either Warframe or whatever game fancies me at the time. But yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope this makes sense. And yeah, I'll see you in the next build. Or video, depending what comes out first. Alright, I love you all, and thank you for watching. Alright.